involved shooting that occurred on Wednesday, July 26, 2023, in the intersection of Catalina Street and Fairfax Avenue. Before proceeding, I'd like to announce to our viewing and listening audience that this town hall is being translated into Spanish, Cantonese, and American Sign Language, ASL, for members of our community who speak those languages. Without suggesting a premature judgment on the appropriateness of the force used in this particular incident, today's presentation will include details from an officer-involved shooting incident that ended tragically, claiming the life of 41-year-old Ryan Bluford. I'd like to express my deepest condolences to Mr. Bluford's surviving family members for the tragedy they have experienced. In the San Francisco Police Department, we recognize that our sworn duty as law enforcement officers imposes no more solemn obligation on us than to honor and respect the sanctity of human life. We also know that as police officers, we are sometimes required to use force, including deadly force, at times in the performance of our duties. We recognize, too, that officer-involved shootings can have a traumatic effect on members of our communities, especially for individuals, their families, and loved ones who have suffered traumas of their own in encounters with the criminal justice system, wherever it may be. To any of our viewers experiencing trauma from this incident, or from the information or images that we will present in this town hall, please know that help is available to you. You may contact the San Francisco Department of Public Health's crisis line at 415-970-3800 for trauma services. So here's what we hope to accomplish today. First and foremost, it is the San Francisco Police Department's aspiration to be a national model of 21st century policing. We work to earn the trust of those we serve by committing to transparency and to the tenets of procedural justice in this process and in the town hall presentations. Procedural justice depends on the legitimacy of police as well as our entire criminal justice system. With these town halls, we work to embody the foundational tenets of what procedural justice is all about. We will release facts known to us at this time about this incident. We will try to do so in a manner that is impartial and neutral. We will answer questions from members of the public as well as members of the news media, and we will listen to public feedback. Acting Commander Mark M. will be presenting the facts of this case in a few minutes. Before turning the floor over to him, however, I want to emphasize that this incident is subject to multiple independent and ongoing investigations. As such, there may be some information we cannot release at this time either, because the release of the certain information is prohibited by law, or the release of certain information could compromise an ongoing investigation, or because certain facts have not yet been established with certainty. In other words, we are not able to release unconfirmed information. Next, Acting Commander Mark M.'s presentation will include detailed verbal narratives of the facts as we know them, as well as audio and video content from the officer-involved shooting incident. SFPD officers who responded to the scene were wearing department-issued body-worn camera, which were activated while they were on their way to the incident, consistent with our body-worn camera policy, Department General Order 10.11. You will see body-worn camera video from these officers from multiple perspectives. At the San Francisco Police Department, our commitment to full transparency has guided our officer-involved shooting investigations and town halls for several years now. Although our practices predate the enactment of many police transparency and accountability laws in California, we believe our approach has remained consistent with the letter and spirit of reforms implemented by Senate Bill 1421 for police transparency and Assembly Bill 1506 for police accountability. SFPD's commitment to transparency in this process will also be reflected in the release of information online. Video from this town hall, including audio recordings from 911 calls and dispatchers and video footage I just mentioned, will be posted on SFPD's website at sanfranciscopolice.org. It will remain there for public viewing. As a reminder, all of SFPD's governing policies and procedures can also be found on our website. San Francisco Police Department directives. mandate that we release the names of officers from officer-involved shootings unless safety concerns argue against disclosure. In this matter, we've identified no safety concerns, and Acting Commander Mark M. will release the names of the officers as a part of this presentation. I'd like to explain now the investigative processes for officer-involved shootings. San Francisco has a multi-agency response to officer-involved shootings, and each agency's investigations is independent. Whenever an officer-involved shooting occurs in San Francisco involving an on-duty San Francisco police officer, the following agencies are immediately notified. The SFPD's Investigative Services Detail, or ISD, is the unit responsible for investigating the events that led up to the officer-involved shooting. In this case, the activity being investigated is an assault with a deadly weapon and a prohibited person with a firearm. The SFPD's Internal Affairs Division, IAD, is responsible for conducting an administrative investigation to determine if the officer or officers responsible for the OIS are in compliance with the standards and requirements of SFPD policy. Although the investigations of both SFPD units run in parallel, each has a distinct investigative purview and focus. Each maintains a strict internal firewall to comply with legal standards and requirements. The San Francisco Department of Police Accountability, or DPA, conducts an independent administrative investigation. San Francisco voters created DPA as a successor to the Office of Citizen Complaints with their passage of Proposition D in June 2016. DPA investigates all SFPD incidents in which any of our officers discharge a weapon within the course and scope of their duties and whenever that discharge results in an individual's injury or death. The San Francisco District Attorney's Office Independent Investigations Bureau, or IIB, is responsible for determining the legality of the officer-involved shooting. Based on their independent investigation and review, the District Attorney of the County of San Francisco will make the final decision as to whether the officer's actions comply with the laws of the state of California. The San Francisco Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, or OCME, has the responsibility for conducting an on-scene investigation, collecting evidence, and taking custody of the deceased person in any officer-involved shooting that results in a fatality. In tragic cases such as these, the OCME is responsible for conducting an autopsy to determine the decedent's cause of death and to report those findings publicly. In this incident, because Mr. Bluford died from his injuries, the OCME will conduct an investigation to determine his cause of death. All notified agencies dispatch investigators and the appropriate personnel to begin their investigations and independent investigations were called on this incident and responded. Finally, I'd like to point out that we take community feedback very seriously. Based on feedback from prior officer-involved shooting town halls, we also take questions and answer them to the extent that we're able, understanding that this incident remains an ongoing investigation. We will allocate 1 hour for public comments and questions and conclude this town hall approximately 5:15 p.m. Thank you very much for joining us today. And now, Acting Commander Mark M.
Thank you, Chief Scott. The officer-involved shooting, or OIS incident, discussed in this presentation started on Wednesday, July 26, 2023, at approximately 2:46 p.m. and took place at the intersection of Fairfax Avenue and Catalina Street in the Bayview Hunters Point neighborhood. This incident involved San Francisco Police Department plainclothes officers assigned to the Community Violence Reduction Team, or CVRT, and uniformed patrol officers assigned to Bayview Police Station. The officers who discharged their firearms were 2 uniformed officers assigned to Bayview Station. In this presentation, you will hear the following police terminology and radio code language commonly used by officers. 407 is police radio code for prisoner transportation. 408 is police radio code for ambulance. 917 is police radio code for suspicious person. 216 is police radio code for shots fired. 221 is police radio code for a person with a gun. 1013 is police radio code for advised condition at scene. 1025 is police radio code for respond as backup. 1097 is police radio code for arrived at scene. 1098 is police radio code for en route to new location. Code 3 is police radio code for emergency response. Code 33 is police radio code for emergency clear channel. BWC is body worn camera. OIS is an officer involved shooting. Company is police terminology for the station. Dispatch is the Department of Emergency Management Dispatcher and Radio Communications System. Plainclothes refers to non-uniformed sworn police officers who detect crime, conduct investigations, conduct surveillance, and participate in planned operations and directed enforcement. Public safety statement is information obtained by a supervisor from an officer who utilized lethal force at an officer-involved shooting. Questions are intended to determine existing threats to public safety and identify transitory evidence that must be preserved. The scope of this statement is limited to the collection of such critical, fleeting information in the immediate aftermath of these critical incidents. It is the department's policy to deactivate body-worn cameras before obtaining public safety statements. The policy instructs the supervisor to remind the involved officers not to discuss the incident further at the scene. The precise chronology of this incident is currently under investigation. The times presented are approximate. The following is a summary of the events as they are understood as of today and may evolve as further information is learned through the investigation. A word of caution, there is profanity and graphic images in this presentation. As of August 4th, 2023, we believe the facts are as follows. At approximately 2:30 p.m., 3 officers assigned to CVRT were working in the Bayview Hunters Point neighborhood, driving an unmarked department vehicle. These officers were working in plainclothes capacity, equipped with their department-issued firearm, their body-worn camera, and their department-issued radio. The CVRT officers wore clothing that displayed the word police and SFPD logos. The CVRT officers observed a group of 5 people on the pedestrian walkway at the end of Kashmir Street and Hudson Avenue. The CVRT officers recognized one person who had an active felony warrant for their arrest. When the CVRT officers circled back to take enforcement action, the group of people were no longer in the same area. The CVRT officers exited their vehicle and walked the pedestrian pathway going towards Fairfax Avenue and Catalina Street. At approximately 2:44 p.m., the CVRT officers went through an open gate and located the same group of people in the courtyard of an apartment complex on the 1000 block of Fairfax Avenue. The CVRT officers confirmed the wanted person's identity, advised the person of their warrant, and placed them under arrest. The CVRT officers advised dispatch to put them on a suspicious person call and escort the person in custody to the corner of Fairfax Avenue and Catalina Street. The remaining 4 people from the group and an unknown female bystander also followed the CVRT officers to the corner of Fairfax Avenue and Catalina Street. The CVRT officers requested a unit to respond to their location to provide prisoner transportation. Less than 2 minutes later, the CVRT officers asked for an expedited response on prisoner transport and for an additional unit to assist them as the person in custody became increasingly agitated, yelling profanities at the officer and refusing to go into the unmarked department vehicle. Uniformed patrol officers assigned to Bayview Station started the response to Fairfax Avenue and Catalina Street. While the CVRT officers were standing by, a man unrelated to the warrant arrest confronted the officers. The man, later identified as Mr. Ryan Bluford, screamed, quote, "What the fuck are y'all doing? What the fuck are y'all doing in my neighborhood?" End quote. CVRT Officer 1 advised Mr. Bluford that the individual in handcuffs had an active warrant. Mr. Bluford screamed, quote, "He ain't got no warrant, and ain't no fucking police, N-word. Ain't no fucking police, bitch, ass, N-word, end quote. Mr. Bluford demanded multiple times for the officers to uncuff the person in custody. Mr. Bluford then yelled, quote, "On my mama's soul, uncuff him right now before I kill one of you. Uncuff him right now," end quote. The CVRT officers radioed for a status update from the responding units. Dispatch advised that they were unable to hear the CVRT officer's transmission due to the noise in the background. The CVRT officers then notified dispatch that a group of people had formed at their location. Dispatch advised that 5 Bayview units were en route to assist. Mr. Bluford continued on, adamant the person in custody was not going with the police. Mr. Bluford shouted, quote, "Get the fuck out my hood. He ain't going nowhere. What the fuck you mean, N-word? He ain't going nowhere," end quote. Mr. Bluford yelled a verbal threat saying, quote, "Y'all really want to start with me? I'm not worried about the women. You want to start with me, N-word. I'll fuck you up out here, N-word. Bitch ass, N-word. Uncuff that N-word right now, N-word. Uncuff him," end quote. Mr. Bluford took a few steps back from the officers, lifted his sweatshirt, and reached toward his waistband with his right hand. Mr. Bluford wrapped his right hand around the grip of a light-colored handgun and said, quote, "We finna go up," end quote. Mr. Bluford turned toward the officers and shouted, quote, "We going up, let him roll up here, N-word. Uncuff him right now," end quote. Mr. Bluford looked in the direction of the officers, held his grip on the handgun, and continued to yell at the officers to uncuff the person in custody. The CVRT officers yelled, quote, "Hey," end quote, and quote, "He has a gun," end quote, to alert others in the immediate area that Mr. Bluford had a handgun. The CVRT officers called a code 33 and 1025 to Fairfax Avenue and Catalina Street for a person with a gun. The person in custody told Mr. Bluford, quote, "Hey, Unc, be cool, be cool. Unc, be cool," end quote. The CVRT officers described the suspect as an older black male wearing a black beanie, gray jacket, and blue jeans. They advised that the armed subject was walking on foot towards Fairfax Avenue. The person in custody also called to the bystander saying, quote, "Hey, sis, back up, sis, back up. Come here, sis, back up," end quote. Uniformed patrol officers 1 and 2 arrived at the intersection of Fairfax Avenue and Catalina Street in a marked patrol vehicle. Mr. Bluford was in the middle of the intersection. The CVRT officers confirmed over the radio that the subject in front of the patrol vehicle was a person armed with a handgun. Both uniformed officers got out of their marked patrol vehicle. Patrol Officer 1 deployed his department-issued patrol rifle, and Patrol Officer 2 drew his department-issued handgun. Patrol Officers 1 and 2 ordered Mr. Bluford to put his hands up, while giving numerous warnings that failing to comply with these commands could lead to lethal force. The CVRT officers ordered the bystanders to move away from Mr. Bluford, saying, quote, "Hey, you need to get away. Come on, please. Let's go. He's got a gun. Let's go," end quote. The person in custody yelled, quote, Hey, stop touching my sister, bitch," end quote. The CVRT officers advised the person in custody they did not want the bystander to get hit, as patrol officers were already interacting with Mr. Bluford. Despite attempts to move the bystander, they refused, demanded not to be touched, and continued to record the event on their cell phone. As the CVRT officers went to move the person in custody, they yelled, quote, "Hey, don't touch me, bitch. I don't give a fuck, bitch. You're the one that got me arrested, bitch," end quote. Patrol officers continued to give commands to Mr. Bluford. Patrol Officer 1 can be heard saying, quote, "Get your hands up or I'll shoot. Hands up or I'll shoot you in the head," end quote. Patrol Officer 2 can be heard saying, quote, "Get your hands up right now. Get your hands out of your pants right now. Get your fucking hands up," end quote. And, quote, "Put your fucking hands up or I'll shoot you," end quote. Patrol Officer 1 also broadcasted over the radio, quote, "One at gunpoint, not responding to commands," end quote. Patrol Officer 3 arrived on scene and ran to assist Patrol Officer 2. Patrol Officer 2 pled with Mr. Bluford to put his hands up, saying, quote, "Put your hands up, please. Please, put your hands up. Please, please, put your hands up. Please, please, put your hands up," end quote. Patrol Officer 2 also gave commands for bystanders to move away from the street. For a period of 1 minute and 7 seconds, Patrol Officer 1 ordered Mr. Bluford 20 times to put his hands up and or get down. Simultaneously, Patrol Officer 2 ordered Mr. Bluford 27 times to put his hands up and or get down on the ground. Mr. Bluford, with his right hand still at his waistband, walked from the middle of the intersection towards the southeast corner of Fairfax Avenue and Catalina Street. Mr. Bluford continued to shout at the officers while keeping his right hand gripped on the handgun. At approximately 2:53 p.m., Mr. Bluford raised his left hand to display the middle finger towards Patrol Officers 1 and 2. Seconds later, Mr. Bluford looked towards the patrol officers and with his right hand removed the handgun from his waistband and held it at his side. Mr. Bluford then immediately raised his right arm into an extended position and pointed the handgun towards the officers. An officer-involved shooting occurred, with Patrol Officer 1 firing his department-issued patrol rifle and Patrol Officer 2 firing his department-issued handgun. The officer-involved shooting took place 1 minute and 39 seconds after the CVRT officers first saw Mr. Bluford's handgun at the waistband, and approximately 1 minute and 4 seconds after Patrol Officers 1 and 2 arrived on scene. The CVRT officers advised over the radio, quote, "Shots fired by police," end quote. Within 10 seconds, dispatch called for the San Francisco Fire Department to respond to the scene. Patrol officers also advised dispatch of shots fired and, quote, "Catalina and Fairfax, 1 down," end quote. CVRT Officer 1 called a second 1025 before his transmission was cut short. Patrol Officers 1, 2, and 3 advanced towards Mr. Bluford to render aid and secure Mr. Bluford's handgun. Patrol Officer 4 observed bystanders shouting and approaching Mr. Bluford. Multiple officers gave commands for the bystanders to back away from Mr. Bluford. An unidentified person was heard yelling, quote, "Take the gun," end quote. Patrol Officer 3 moved towards Mr. Bluford and continued ordering the bystanders to back away from Mr. Bluford. Patrol Officer 4 moved towards Mr. Bluford. Patrol Officer 4 used his foot to slide the unsecured handgun away from Mr. Bluford. Patrol Officer 4 picked up Mr. Bluford's handgun and later secured it in a marked patrol vehicle. Within 49 seconds of the OIS, officers approached Mr. Bluford, assessed him for injuries, and initiated CPR. The CVRT officers advised over the radio they still had a person in custody that needed to be transported from the scene immediately. The suspect in custody appeared to be agitated, yelled profanities, and at one point told one of the CVRT officers, quote, "My fucking arm, bitch," end quote. The group continued to increase in size, yelling profanities as other bystanders moved closer to Mr. Bluford and the officers rendering aid. The group also refused to leave as officers attempted to establish and secure the crime scene. A third 1025 call was requested over the radio by additional arriving units, stating that more officers were needed before the transmission was cut off. Officers continued CPR until relieved by the San Francisco Fire Department. The San Francisco Fire Department arrived on scene within 5 minutes and 37 seconds of being dispatched to Fairfax Avenue and Catalina Street. Mr. Bluford was transported by the San Francisco Fire Department to Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital, where he was later pronounced deceased. The person in custody from CVRT's initial enforcement action was later booked for their warrant at San Francisco County Jail. Suspect. The suspect's name is Mr. Ryan Bluford. His date of birth is October 15, 1981. Evidence. Crime scene investigators from the San Francisco Police Department Forensic Services Division responded and collected physical evidence from the scene, including, but not limited to the following: a loaded para-ordnance high-cap 45 caliber handgun with 1 round in the chamber and 1 loaded 10-round magazine, 5 40 caliber fired cartridge casings, and 4 .223 caliber fired cartridge casings. Video footage and photographs. Officers on scene were wearing department-issued body-worn cameras, which were activated and recorded the events as they unfolded. Any other relevant video footage or photographs can be provided to the San Francisco District Attorney's Independent Investigations Bureau using the following phone number, 628-652-4411. Witnesses. Any witnesses are encouraged to contact the San Francisco District Attorney's Independent Investigations Bureau at 628-652-4411. Involved members. The SFPD officers who discharged their firearms in this incident are Officer Marco Radin, number 1945, a patrol officer assigned to Bayview Station. Officer Peter Van Zant, number 4142, a patrol officer assigned to Bayview Station. Training. Officer 1, who discharged their department-issued rifle, completed crisis intervention training in 2021. Officer 2, who discharged their department-issued handgun, completed crisis intervention training in 2018. Officers who are CIT trained have completed a 40-hour California Peace Officers Standards and Training, or POST, certified course which prepares them to respond to persons in crisis incidents and, as a team, formulate a plan, establish rapport, and use de-escalation tactics, including tactical repositioning and creating time and distance, whenever possible, to safely resolve incidents. Today's presentation is provided in a multimedia format. In an effort to provide a transparent and comprehensive perspective of this incident, the SFPD will provide dispatch audio from involved officers, body-worn camera footage, open-source witness videos, crime scene investigation photos, maps, and related visual aids. Our presentation today consists of relevant, known video and audio at this time, but it is not intended to provide all photos, videos, or testimonial information related to this investigation. I will now provide a presentation of this incident using these multimedia sources. At select points to increase the clarity for viewers, certain videos have been enhanced to allow for a better understanding of this incident. Please note that this presentation, the enhanced videos, and the unedited videos will all be available on the SFPD website immediately following this town hall event. SFPD policies can also be located on the SFPD website. Prior to the beginning of each segment, I will provide a brief description to orient the viewer to the time, place, and location of the content about to be shown. You're about to see relevant video footage and learn about other evidence related to this case, so you can have a better understanding of what occurred based upon what we know right now. We are still in the very early stages of an administrative investigation that can take months to complete, and our understanding of the incident may change as additional evidence is collected and reviewed. We do not draw any conclusion as to whether the officers acted consistent with our policies and the law until all the facts are known and the investigation is complete. A word of caution: the images and information you're about to see and hear may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect or defend against attack, the images are graphic and may be difficult to watch. In addition, there may be strong language used by those in the video. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers. We encourage those in need of help to contact the San Francisco Department of Public Health Crisis Line at 415-970-3800. The Independent Investigations Bureau, or IIB, is an independent unit within the San Francisco District Attorney's Office, which investigates and reviews all officer-involved shootings. IIB may be reached by email at sfda-iib@sfgov.org or telephone at 628-652-4411. We will now provide a geographical map of Fairfax Avenue and Catalina Street, as well as enhanced graphics to display the general area of the incident. The map will show a Google satellite perspective, as well as a Google Street View of the incident location. Please note, the graphics and map are approximations and not shown to scale. You're about to hear a recording of the radio transmissions as they were broadcast by officers at the scene as well as responding officers. This audio was provided by San Francisco's Department of Emergency Management.
Ocean 20, 917.
I'm sorry, 5 Ocean 20, 10 9?
917. 10,000 block, 1,000 block.
I'm sorry, 5 Ocean 20. I got a 917 in which block?
Just put it at Fairfax and Catalina.
Fairfax, Catalina, 10-4.
And can we get a phone second?
Charlie, 5 Ocean 20, 10-4. Over 8384, 5 Ocean 20 is requesting a 407 at Fairfax and Catalina. Again, any available baby unit for a 407 per 5 Ocean 20, Fairfax and Catalina.
Five Ocean 17. Can we get that 407 ASAP?
Again, over A3 and A4, 5 Ocean 17, requesting a 407, Fairfax and Catalina.
Or at least just another unit, please.
5 Ocean 17, requesting another unit at Fairfax and Catalina. Any available baby units back?
7771, we're going to get.
Charlie 70 and Charlie 71, 10-4.
Charlie 103 to 12 Adam, can you please back them?
Check orders to Charlie 12 Adam.
Okay.
10-4, Fairfax and Catalina.
Charlie 103 to 13 Charlie Johnson.
Go for Charlie, 1 for Charlie.
Johnson, can you please take the wagon out for them?
Yeah, well, whatever you know, you can 15 Charlie, Sam. Perfect PM, Sam.
Charlie, I'm sorry, which unit was that for the 407?
Charlie 13 Charlie. Have us breaking from the 15 Adam. We're going to head back to the company and pick up the login.
10-4, I'll put you on 5 Ocean 20's run.
5 Ocean 17. Can we put 13 on that?
I'm sorry, 5 Ocean 17, there's a lot of background noise. 10-9?
Yeah, we have a crowd forming. Can we please get
10-4, you got a crowd forming. You got multiple units on the way there. You've got the 70, 71, 12 Adam, and 13 Charlie. And 13 Adam.
Yeah, Charlie 11 Adam. We're a few blocks out.
Charlie 11 Adam, a few blocks out. 10-4.
Someone with a gun right now. Can we get 1025 right now? 1025. Catalina, Fairfax. Catalina, Fairfax.
10-25, 20.
11 Adam. Copy 97.
Charlie 11 Adam, 10-4.
Black baby, gray, blue jeans, little Catalina, and Fairfax walking up towards the platform. Right there with the gun. Gray pants.
221 is going to be a black beanie, gray jacket, blue jeans, walking up towards Fairfax. Units clear the air. Please put yourselves on the run. Code 33, A3 and A4, 5 Ocean 17 as a 1025.
Charlie 103, code 3 authorized.
Charlie 103 advising code 3 authorized. Five Ocean 17, you got a 1013?
Yeah, he's just running in the middle of the street with the gun. We got one at gunpoint, stand down.
4 units have 1 at gunpoint.
Shots fired by the police.
Shots fired by PD.
Shots fired.
Shots fired by PD.
We need a 1025 for Catalina and Fairfax. One down.
One down at Catalina and Fairfax. One down at Catalina and Fairfax.
Charlie 103, 98.
Charlie 103, 98.
Ocean 102, 98.
5 Ocean 102, 10-4.
We don't have a custody here. We need to put him in a car and get him out of here. We need a unit to come out for our custody.
Need a unit for the custody.
Charlie 11 Adam, we need medics code 3 right now.
Medics on the way. Medics 98, code 3.
Yeah, 5 Ocean 20, we need more units for crowd control.
Need more units for crowd.
coming, bro. 5 Ocean 16, 1998.
5 Ocean 16, 98.
Rendering aid.
Rendering aid.
Ocean 16, 19, 97.
5 Ocean 16, 5 Ocean 19, 97.
5 Charlie 2, same traffic.
5 Charlie 2 is 97, 10-4.
CPR is in progress. We need code 3 units up Catalina.
CPR in progress. Need code 3 units up Catalina.
Hey boy, 1013 on the 408.
Priority is Fairfax and Catalina.
Yeah, CPR is being rendered right now.
CPR in progress, 10-4.
What's the ETA on the 408?
Still getting ETA on 408.
Hey, 90 units to respond to units. Leave an opening for the 408.
To responding units, leave opening for 408.
Yo, we need a 1025. We need more officers, thanks.
Need more officers to Fairfax and Catalina.
CPR is still in progress. We got a big crowd out here. We just need the 408 to come up Catalina. It's the only way they're going to get here.
CPR in progress.
We will now show body-worn camera footage. I will introduce each video prior to playing it. Body-worn camera footage was captured from department-issued body-worn cameras worn by members at the time of the event. Portions of these videos have been blurred due to the display of confidential law enforcement database images and graphic content. Some of the audio has also been redacted due to confidential information. The first 30 seconds of body-worn camera footage does not contain audio. The camera has a buffering system that captures 30 seconds of video footage prior to the officer's activation. When activated by the officer, the camera records both audio and video. We are now going to play body-worn camera footage from one of the first officers from CVRT. This officer was on scene with a person who had an outstanding warrant. While waiting for a marked patrol vehicle to transport the person with the warrant, a group began to form around the CVRT officers. A male, later identified as Mr. Bluford, approached the CVRT officers who were standing by the person in custody. This video will be played in real time. The image of the person with the warrant has been blurred.
So you guys,
What's up, man?
How are you?
what's your name, bud?
Right? Yeah,
What's the problem?
You get a warrant, I think, buddy.
yeah. Who's gonna handle that?
All right, you cool? We're gonna confirm it real quick, and then I'll let you know. All right?
Can I call somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna put you in handcuffs real quick. All right?
Let's just step on this side of the.
No.
No, you gotta hold on.
Just hold on. I'm not gonna see this. I promise I'm not gonna see this.
Hey, Steve, call somebody, bro. Call my girl. You get out of my pocket. I forgot her number.
I'll get it for you, dude.
You got it?
Just walk my.
Yeah, I did.
Cool.
Yeah, but I can-
We'll confirm it, and if it's not,
I know, but we
Okay, you
can't
can
take
put
it.
it back in my pocket.
I know, but we're not gonna take it.
I can put it back.
I do. Okay, so
I'm telling my brother.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
I'm touching the phone.
Just
Yeah, he just said give it to me.
Hey.
He just said to give it to me. I told her, why are you? That's my fault.
Are you? Hey, brother, calm down, bro.
Dang, he told me to give it.
Okay.
Calm down.
We're not trying to do that, okay?
Bro, call my sister, bro. Password 4747.
I'm gonna look better.
No, I know. Talking about I got a warrant out and shit.
I'm gonna, let me,
917. I'm gonna get him for what?
yeah. Here,
917. 10,000 blocks. 1,000 blocks in Fairfax.
I'm sorry, 520. I got a 917 in which block?
here, I'm just gonna do it. Just put it at Fairfax and Catalina.
Hey, stay following me, bro.
Get your ID on
Hey,
it.
can we get a phone set?
Yeah. Thanks. They talking about warrant out, bro.
I ain't got no warrant, bro.
They talking about somebody got a warrant out, bro.
They're checking right now, bro.
I don't know, nigga. I don't know. I'm just saying, nigga.
They trying to chill hella shit.
Don't mind. Hey, sis, hold my She said it's good.
No.
I'm over here. Hold on. I'm grabbing his, my shit, bro. What you talking about, bro?
I haven't searched you yet.
All right, go ahead. Search me, nigga. Y'all supposed to be search me up there, nigga. The fuck you mean, nigga? The fuck you mean, nigga? Hey,
Don't add on charges, bro.
I ain't having no charges, brother. What the fuck my hand? Cause like my back, nigga.
Chill out, man.
Give me the password, nigga.
You good, brother. Just chill out. Don't add on no charges.
Or I'm waiting till I'm getting to a fucking actual car, nigga. Fuck, I ain't getting that, bitch.
You ain't getting it. For real.
I ain't getting that, bitch. Bro,
How
call
you know
somebody,
my
nigga.
name?
She on the phone.
How you know my name?
Carrying my fucking wrist, bro.
How you know
All
my
right, you do
name?
nothing. Do something about it, bitch.
How
The
you know
fuck you
my
mean,
name?
nigga?
How you know my name?
The fuck, bitch?
How do you know my name?
Nigga?
How the fuck they know my
Give me
name?
the phone, bro. The cop car not even here yet, bro. Hold on, nigga. A fucking wrist, nigga.
Hey, chill, brother. Chill, though. Chill.
Be calm if it's police grabbing on him like that. Man.
Yeah, y'all already got him in handcuffs, bro. You know they gonna do that.
I know, bro. Come on now, bro. Chill on it.
You ain't got no warrant, nigga.
Bro, cause don't even call my pastor nothing, nigga. You heard what happened, nigga? Yeah, like I said, nigga, I'm going back to the 9, bro. They walked on me. I wasn't doing shit. They was just chilling. Hey, sis, and plus, and baby, I don't got my finger too. I don't got my finger, so it's good. You hear me? Don't make it worse. The fuck you mean, bro?
Yeah, they just trying to get the Nah, nigga, they thought we.
But how, like, find something else to do.
We don't do that.
Man, we were just fucking chilling.
Why y'all messing with us? We go to church.
Come on now, nigga.
To church. They got my money.
Hey, Tino.
They trying to mess with my
He
niggas.
just got out last night.
We better live out that life, yeah. Church and shit.
Hey, sis. I just gave him my other phone.
13 Charlie Johnson.
All right. Call me on. I got your phone. All right, bro. Damn, now niggas pulling cramps in my fucking stomach now, bro. What?
I think you
I'm
take the
losing
wagon
these
outside.
motherfucking shit, bro. You know I'm losing these? Not right now. Damn, bro.
Why? He calmed down. He got him work. He got him motherfucker.
Damn, bro. So did y'all search me or what? All right, so what's up, bro? Can y'all listen to the cops, bro? They got me fucking put, and plus my fucking left shoulder, bro. I can pop this shit out of socket easy, bro. So be cool, nigga.
Charlie 13 Charlie, have a breaking from the 15 Adam. We had that 15 company vehicle wagon.
So far, I'll put you on 5 Ocean 20.
Station 1 car 800 with a teaser, 200 blocks of
My pants up, bro.
14th and 15th.
Other side too.
Where did they even come from?
They seen us on Cashmere. They just walked all the way down here. Nothing. I know my right. This is violating the 4th Amendment.
Can you send it over to me? Yeah.
You can send my friend on to the emergency. I don't know if I'm going to David and Corvo just trying to come up on any air. Any available.
Come on now, tell them, big bro. I ain't do shit, nigga.
What y'all doing in my neighborhood?
Got a warrant. We're taking him around.
Ain't got no warrant. Ain't no fucking police, nigga. Ain't no police, bitch ass nigga.
Come on. It's okay. Get on this nigga, huh?
Ain't no fucking police, nigga. I said so, the fucking Royal. Now tell me something, nigga.
You need a backup and
I need to do
I need
what?
to back up, nigga. You don't got no
Do
scratch
what?
marks, nigga.
I'm cuffing right now.
You ain't
I'm cuffing right now.
You a real
My mama soul, I'm cuffing right now.
fuck you mean, bro?
I'm cuffing right now. I said I'm cuffing right now. My mama soul. I'm cuffing right now. You fucked him up, nigga. I was telling my little West Point, nigga. The king is outside. Nigga, get the fuck out my hood. He ain't going nowhere. Fuck you mean, nigga? He ain't going nowhere. You already want to start me. You want to start. I'm not worried about the women. You want to start me, nigga? You want to start me, nigga? I'll fuck you up out here, nigga. Bitch ass nigga. Uncuff that nigga right now, nigga. Uncuff him.
For 800, 800.
Uncuff him.
Any available mission response.
Nigga, we finna go up. We going up. Let him roll up here, nigga. Uncuff him right now.
Hey!
Uncuff him right now.
I got it. 50220, code 33. Hey, hey. Hey. Hey, he's got a gun. Hey. Hey.
Shit, nigga. I ain't do shit, bro.
Back up! Back up! Back the fuck up, lady! Yeah, he's just running in the middle of the street with the gun.
didn't even really see it.
Hey, we gotta move you the fuck out of the way.
Someone has a gun right there, okay?
Fuck, trying to get in. What the fuck?
Shots fired by the police.
Near dead.
Hey, we need a 1025 for
Yo, Manny as fuck, man.
Hey, I'm gonna kick the gun. Hey, back the fuck up.
We are now going to play an enhanced video containing the body-worn camera footage we just viewed of the initial contact between Mr. Bluford and the CVRT officers on scene.
Come on now, tell them, big bro. I ain't doing shit, nigga.
Fuck y'all doing in my neighborhood?
Got a warrant. We're taking him around.
Ain't got no warrant. Ain't no fucking police, nigga. Ain't no police, bitch ass nigga.
Come on.
It's okay.
Get on this nigga, huh?
Ain't no fucking police, nigga. I said show the fucking royal. Now tell me something, nigga.
You need to back up and
I
take
need to
it.
do what?
I need to back up, nigga. Y'all got no
Do what? I'm cuffing right now. I'm cuffing right now. On my mama's show, I'm cuffing right now. Fuck you.
mean, bro?
I'm cuffing right now. I said I'm cuffing right now. On my mama's show. I'm cuffing right now. You fucked him up, nigga. I wish somebody would roll the West Point, nigga. The king is outside. Nigga, get the fuck out my hood. He ain't going nowhere. Fuck you mean, nigga? He ain't going nowhere. You really want to start me? You want to start? I'm not worried about the women. You want to start me, nigga? You want to start me, nigga? I'll fuck you up out here, nigga. Bitch ass nigga. Uncuff that nigga right now, nigga. Uncuff him. Uncuff him. Nigga, we finna go up. We going now. Let him roll up here, nigga. Uncuff him right now.
Hey!
Uncuff him right now.
We are now going to play body-worn camera footage from another CVRT officer to show a different perspective of the interaction between the CVRT officers and Mr. Bluford. This video will be played in real time.
You started 4.2 dated or 4.2 Any available mission unit.
Come on now, tell them, big bro. I ain't doing shit, nigga.
Fuck y'all doing in my neighborhood? Ain't got no warrant. Ain't no fucking police, nigga. Ain't no police, bitch ass nigga.
It's okay.
Get on this nigga, huh?
Ain't no fucking police, nigga. I said show the fucking royal. Now tell me something, nigga.
You need to back up and
I
take
need to
it.
do what?
I need to back up, nigga. Y'all got no
Do what?
nigga.
I'm cuffing right now.
You ain't know
I'm
y'all
cuffing right now.
You a
On
rookie,
my mama's
bitch.
show, I'm cuffing right now. Fuck you. I'm cuffing right now. I said I'm cuffing right now. On my mama's show. I'm cuffing right now.
A lot of background noise.
You call him up, nigga. I wish somebody would roll up to West Point, nigga. The king is outside.
Therefore, you got a girl for you got one unit on the
Don't
way
touch
there.
me, bro. I can beat my sister, bitch.
You mean, nigga? He ain't going nowhere.
You don't got it.
You already want to start me. You want to start me. I'm not worried about the women. You want to start me, nigga? You want to start me, nigga? Fuck you up, bitch. You the one that got me on arrest, bitch ass nigga. Uncuff that nigga right now, nigga.
Meeting over 884, 840, 800, $57. Any available mission unit respond.
We finna go up. We going now. Let him roll up here, nigga.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun.
Hey!
Uncuff him right now.
On the rear, guys.
My shoulder, bro. My shoulder.
1025 right now.
Let's see your hand!
25, 20.
Oh, be cool.
Hey, sit. Hey, come here. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way.
Fairfax, walk
Right there with the gun. Gray tan. Hey, come here. You need to get away. Come on, please. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, get here. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. You got a gun.
Please put your
Hey, don't touch me,
Hey,
bitch.
let's go.
Wait.
Stop.
What?
We're trying to protect you.
I don't give a
Go
fuck,
left.
bitch. You the one that got me
Go
arrested,
left.
bitch. Fuck, I ain't do shit, nigga.
Charlie 103, code 3 authorized.
Charlie 103, everybody code 3 on the right.
Hey, come on.
Fuck you doing, bitch?
Hey, stop. Hey, come on. Let's go.
Run in the middle of the street with the gun.
Come here. Come here.
I'm right here, bitch.
Hey, you gotta move the fuck out of the way.
Hey, someone get the gun right there, okay?
Fuck, bitch. What the fuck?
Shots fired by the police.
Come here, bitch.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way.
Hey, we need a 1025.
Get out of the way.
Yo, man, it's fuck, man. Trying to get me killed and shit, bitch. You the one that did this, bitch. I don't know what the fuck you going through over here, bitch. Shut the fuck up, bitch. The fuck y'all got my nigga for? Hey, come on, nigga. Get that shit on camera. Get that shit on camera, nigga. Get that shit on camera. Sis, get that shit on camera, nigga. Get that shit on camera, nigga.
Have a custody here. We need a warrant. Get him out of here.
You need to come up, Keith, for our custody.
Baby.
Here.
We are now going to play body-worn camera footage from another CVRT officer to show a different perspective of the interaction of the CVRT officers and Mr. Bluford. This video will be played in real time.
You need to back up and
Y'all don't get paid enough for y'all. Uncuff me right now. Yo, my mama soul, uncuff me right now. Kill me.
50217.
Uncuff me right now. My mama soul.
I'm sorry,
Uncuff me right now.
there's a lot of background noise. Can I?
You call them up, nigga. I wish somebody would roll up.
Yeah, we have a crowd. Can you please get
I could be with my sister. What you mean?
Therefore, you got a crowd for me. You got multiple units on the way there.
Going nowhere.
Each of you was 12 out of them, 13 charges, and 13 out of them.
I'm not worried about the women. You want to start me, nigga? You want to start me, nigga?
Hey, stop.
Fuck you up,
Charlie 11 out of them, you locked up.
bitch ass nigga. Uncuff that nigga right now, nigga.
Routine over 8384, a priority 815 dollars. Any available mission units respond.
We finna go up. We going up. Let him roll up here, nigga. Uncuff me right now.
Hey, code 33, we got someone with a gun right now. Can we get 1025 right now? 1025. Catalina. Let's see your hands. Catalina.
Be cool, bruh.
Let's see your hands.
Be cool.
We got an older VM, black beanie, gray.
Hey, sis, back up, sis, back up. Come here, sis.
Blue jeans,
Sis, back up.
middle Catalina,
Sis.
and Fairfax walking up towards that
My arm.
unit right there, him right there with the gun, gray tan. Hey, lady, back up.
Sis.
Come here,
Back
come here.
up. Sis. Sis, back up, sis.
Gray jacket, blue jeans, walking up
Yo, you're in the, hey, you're in the background.
Hey.
Hey, you're in the
Stop
background.
touching my sister, bitch.
No, we don't want her to get hurt.
I don't give a fuck, bitch.
Hey,
Don't touch me. Sis, come on, sis. It's good,
okay,
bro.
fine. You want to get shot? Go ahead.
You need to clear the air. Please put yourself on the right.
Hey,
Code 33,
Stop.
507,
Stop it.
10
Fuck, I ain't do shit, nigga.
Charlie 103, code 3 authorized.
Shit, man.
Charlie 103, everybody code 3 on the right.
Let's go.
Hey, we're responsible for you. Okay, come on. We're responsible
Hey,
for
man,
you.
come over here.
Hey, no. Hey, come on.
Stay over there.
We gotta move this way. We gotta move this way.
Stay over there.
We gotta move this way.
Run in the middle of the street with the gun. You got one gun point stand down.
Come here. Hey, I'm right here. Hey, you gotta move the fuck out of the way.
You need to have one gun.
Hey, someone has a gun right there, okay?
Fuck, trying to get him. What the fuck?
Shots fired by the police.
Shots fired by the police.
Come here, man.
Shots fired by the
Come here, man.
Shots fired by the police.
We are now going to play an enhanced video containing the body-worn camera footage we just viewed of the initial contact between Mr. Bluford and the CVRT officers on scene.
$815. Any available mission units respond.
We finna go up.
Hey, 8:33. We got someone with a gun right now. Can we get 10:25 right now? 10:25. Catalina. Catalina.
We are now going to play the body-worn camera footage from Patrol Officer 1, the passenger of the marked patrol vehicle responding to the scene. This officer gave numerous commands for Mr. Bluford to get his hands up. This uniformed patrol officer can be seen discharging his department-issued rifle as Mr. Bluford points the handgun at the uniformed patrol officers. This video will be played in real time.
Catalina and Fairfax. Let's go. Get your hands up! Get your hands up! Get your hands up!
Get your hands up right now!
Hands up right now, I'll shoot!
Get your
Hands up or I'll shoot!
Get your fucking hands
Hands up or I'll shoot! Charlie 11 Adam wanted gunpoint, not responding to commands. Get your hands up or I'll shoot! Hands up or I'll shoot! Get your hands up or I'll shoot you in the head! Hands up or I'll shoot you in the head! Hands up! Get your hands up! Drop your hands up or I'll shoot you in the head! Get out! Get down! Get down! Get down! Get down! Get down! Put your hands up and get on the ground! Put your hands up and get on the ground! Fuck! Charlie 11 Adam, can somebody put it out?
Shots fired by PD.
Charlie 11 Adam, shots fired. Pete.
Catalina and Fairfax. One down. One down at Catalina and Fairfax. One down at Catalina and Fairfax.
Get back! Get back!
Get back up!
Back up!
Charlie 1
Get a team set up! Get a team set up!
Motion 102 now. Motion 102, 10 4.
Watch out!
Get him out.
Need a unit for the custody.
We have medics code 3.
Medics code 3 right now. Medics on the way. Medics on the way.
She did!
What do you want? No, where's your hit?
Why the fuck did y'all shoot this man?
Hey, who's got shoes? Need shears.
Hey, back up.
Start compression. Rendering aid.
We are now going to play an enhanced video containing the body-worn camera footage we just viewed from Patrol Officer 1. We are now going to play the body-worn camera footage from Patrol Officer 2, the driver of the marked patrol vehicle responding to the scene. This officer gave numerous commands for Mr. Bluford to get his hands up. This officer can be seen discharging his department-issued handgun as Mr. Bluford points his handgun at the uniformed patrol officers. This officer requests an ambulance to the scene and renders aid. This video will be played in real time.
This guy?
This guy. Get your hands up!
Get your hands up! Get your hands up! Get your hands up right now! Get your hands up! Get your hands out of your pants right now! Get your fucking hands up! 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 Get them up! Get your fucking hands up! Get your fucking hands up! Put your fucking hands up, or I'll shoot you! Put your hands up, please! Please put your hands up! Please! Please put your hands up! Please! Please! Put your hands up! Please! Please put your hands up! Get out of the street! Get your fucking hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Get them back! Get back! Get your hands up! 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 Put your hands up! Hey, he's still moving! He's still moving!
Okay, 1025. We're One down.
Move across! Move across!
One down at Catalina.
Get her back! Get her back! Get out the way! We have medics code 3? Charlie 11 Adam, we need medics code 3 right now. We need more units here. What do you want? No cops. Where's he hit? Hey, who's got shears? Anyone got shears? Shears. I need shears.
Hey, back up.
You got a post?
Rendering aid.
We are now going to play an enhanced video containing the body-worn camera footage we just viewed. This enhanced video shows Officer 4 using their foot to move the handgun away from Mr. Bluford. We are now going to play the body-worn camera footage from Patrol Officer 3 who arrived on scene seconds prior to the OIS. This footage shows the actions of the officers as they approach Mr. Bluford to render medical aid and request medical assistance from the San Francisco Fire Department medics. This video will be played in real time.
Catalina and Fairfax, one down.
One down at Catalina and Fairfax.
Get back, back up! Back up,
Charlie,
back up!
We are now going to play an enhanced video containing the body-worn camera footage we just viewed.
Back up, man. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Back up.
We are now going to play the body-worn camera footage from Patrol Officer 4, who arrived on scene seconds prior to the OIS. Patrol Officer 4 can be seen picking up Mr. Bluefer's handgun and securing it. This video will be played in real time.
Get a team set up! Get a team set up! I got the 221, I got the 221. Get him out.
Get out the way. We have medics code 3?
Should we do it? I got the 221.
Anyone got shears? Shears.
Shears? I got no shears.
I need shears.
Yeah, back up.
Don't you say shit to me. You better pump, bitch. You better pump. You don't put your fucking
We are now going to play an enhanced video containing the body-worn camera footage we just viewed.
Don't you say you better pump, bitch. You better pump.
We are now going to play a witness video located utilizing open source social media. The video was recorded by a witness of the incident. This video was located by investigators on the social media website, Twitter. This video will be played in real time.
Oh, hell no.
We are now going to play an enhanced video of the social media video we just viewed. We are now going to play in synchronization the video on Twitter and the body-worn camera footage of Patrol Officer 1, the passenger patrol officer who discharged his department-issued rifle. These videos will be played in real time.
Up! Drop your hands up or I'll shoot you in the head! Get out! Get down! Get down! Get down! Get down! Get down! Put your hands up and get on the ground! Put your hands up and get on the ground! Fuck! Charlie 11 Adam, can somebody put it out?
Shots fired by PD.
Charlie 11 Adam, shots fired.
Catalina and Fairfax. One down. One down at Catalina and Fairfax. One down at Catalina.
Get back!
Get back up!
Back up!
Charlie 1.
Get a team set up! Get a team set up!
We are now going to play the synchronized video footage with enhancements to show Mr. Bluford pointing the handgun at uniformed officers.
Get on the ground! Put your hands up and get on the ground!
CSI photos. We are now going to share photographic evidence taken by the San Francisco Police Department Forensic Services Division. This photo shows the department-issued rifle used by the officer in the incident. This photo shows the department-issued handgun used by the officer in the incident. This photo shows the handgun possessed by Mr. Bluford during this incident. This concludes my presentation. I will now introduce the commanding officer of Bayview Police Station, Captain David Marin.
All right, thank you, Commander. Good afternoon. My name is Captain David Marin. I'm the commanding officer of Bayview Police Station. I'd like to start by expressing my condolences and sympathy to those directly affected by this incident. I also want to acknowledge the effect that this has had on the neighborhood and broader community. Addressing the concerns of this officer-involved shooting will require a comprehensive approach that prioritizes the safety of officers and the community while striving to uphold the principles of fairness, trust, and respect for all individuals involved. Since the day of the incident, I have been communicating with my community leaders, residents, and stakeholders to address any concerns. Members from my Community Police Advisory Board have also been briefed. Out of respect for Mr. Bluford's family, grieving community, and the officers involved, Bayview Station, along with B-Magic, Bayview Opera House, San Francisco Recreation and Parks, Jolie Rec Center, SF Safe, CARE, and our community ambassadors collectively decided to postpone the annual National Night Out event that was scheduled for August 1st until a later date. The officers of Bayview Station will continue to be responsive, empathetic, and proactive in their approach towards restoring public trust and confidence. We will continue to work collaboratively with the community to ensure safety and justice for all. As captain of Bayview Police Station, I am committed to fostering an environment of trust, accountability, and mutual respect between our officers and the community. I will also continue to encourage an open dialogue about our policing practices and community concerns. By listening to the community's perspectives and incorporating their feedback, I believe we can work together to provide safety with respect to better serve and protect everyone. Lastly, I invite folks to attend my station community meetings, which are held on the first Tuesday of the month. The next meeting will be held on August 8th. I can also be reached at 415-671-2300 for any of your questions, comments, and concerns. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to welcome back Chief Scott.
Thank you, Captain Marin and Acting Commander M, for your presentations. And now we will open it up for questions or public comment.
The public comment portion of this town hall meeting will now begin. The length of time for public comment will be 1 hour. To call into the meeting, please call 1-415-655-0001. Again, the number to call into the meeting is 1-415-655-0001. Please enter meeting code 2664-857-9135, followed by hitting the pound sign. Each public comment caller will have up to 2 minutes to speak and will be limited to one call. If you wish to join the queue for public comment, please listen carefully to the following instructions. Interpretation is available in both Spanish and Cantonese. If you're watching on WebEx, you may click the interpretation button and select your preferred language. If you are calling into the meeting, again, please call 1-415-655-0001. Enter meeting code 2664-857-9135, followed by hitting the pound sign. You may press *3 to raise your hand to get in the queue to speak for public comment. You will be prompted when you have been unmuted and it will be your turn to speak. Once again, each caller will have up to 2 minutes to provide a public comment for this town hall meeting and will be limited to one phone call. Your 2 minutes will begin once you've been prompted that you have been unmuted and you will begin speaking. Please be reminded, you must mute the broadcast while you're watching in order for your public comment to be heard clearly. Again, if you are watching the broadcast online, please mute the broadcast or turn down the volume to prevent audio feedback so your comment can be heard clearly. Moderators, at this time, I ask that you invite the first caller to speak.
Yes, the officers acted with... Hello?
Yes, caller, we
Hello?
can hear you.
Oh, okay, thank you. I just want to say that the officers acted with remarkable courage and restraint in the face of imminent danger. Despite repeated attempts to de-escalate the situation verbally, the individual continued to pose to serve a threat to the officers and bystanders. Fearing for their lives and the safety of the community, the officers responded decisively by discharging their weapons in an effort to neutralize the imminent threat posed by the armed individual. The officers' actions were justifiable and aligned with their training. The individual's possession of a loaded firearm and their refusal to comply with commands placed the officers and others at an immediate risk of harm. In line with established protocols, the officers utilized lethal force as a last resort to protect themselves and the public from potential harm. It is worth noting that their actions were consistent with the legal and ethical standards governing the use of force by law enforcement officers. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the officers involved in this incident. Their dedication, professionalism, and courage in the face of adversity served as a testament to the high standards upheld by SFPD. In situations such as this, the safety of officers and the general public is paramount. The officers involved in this incident demonstrated exceptional judgment and adherence to established protocols. Their action serves as a reminder of the challenges faced by law enforcement officers daily and underscore the importance of ongoing training and support. Thank you, SFPD, and the officers who were involved in this incident.
Thank you, caller, for your comments.
Next caller. Go ahead, caller. We can hear you. Caller, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you, caller. Go ahead with your comment.
Okay. My comment is, I'm disappointed when I heard some of the language being used by the police in that video related to that person. And full disclosure, the twins for that man who was killed is my stepdaughter. So that's my family that got killed. So all I'm saying is I didn't see any indication of anybody trying to de-escalate anything. I didn't see any indication from that cop that his intent when he got out of that car with that gun was to shoot him. When you say to somebody, I'm going to shoot you in the head, I'm going to shoot you in the head, you want to kill him. So that's all I'll say. That's what I want to say. So they can talk all the stuff they want, but this did not need to happen. Those kids did not need to lose their father. They did not. And what happened to this program where you guys were supposed to be sending other people out when people had mental illness? What happened to that? Because that was more appropriate in that particular moment than pulling out a gun and killing the man.
Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your comment, caller, and we're really sorry for your loss.
Next caller.
Yes, this is Gloria Berry from District 10. First, I want to say I think it's pretty sick that first caller took so much joy in a tragedy. And then I want to go ahead and ask the following question. For the two officers that were in plain clothes in the beginning of the scenario, what is the length of their time on the force? Is this a town hall or a commission meeting?
Caller, we don't disclose in these settings the personnel records of uninvolved officers. The officers that fired their weapons are what is disclosed publicly in these town halls.
Okay. Then my next question is the first officer, the female white plainclothes officer, when the victim was agitated and irate and yelling and screaming and whatnot, why didn't she make any attempt to console him or to talk with him and see what's going on with him? Why did she ignore him and walk away?
Yes, caller, I'll just refer you. Let me say that everything that was in this presentation will be online. I would encourage you to look at the transcripts from Commander M, look at the body-worn camera video to see what the officers said and did. That might be helpful to answer your question.
Okay, I don't think so. I watched several of these videos, and then my other comment really is that with the officer that was yelling to put the effing gun down or put your effing hand down, and that I'll shoot you. That method is not any type of de-escalation type method. It made it worsen, I believe, and we need to give you guys more training on
Caller, your 2
how
minutes is
to
up.
calm.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you for your comment, caller. I would invite you, though, to, again, online, review our department use of force policy. It's Department General Order 5.01, in particular on page 5, Section C of Section 5.01.04 specifically explains what de-escalation is. There's language in there about exigent circumstances, and that might be helpful also to provide some clarity to our policies and our training. Thank you, caller.
Next caller, please.
Hi, I'm just calling in. Hi, I'm just calling in. First of all, it's a tragedy. Every time something like this happens, it's always a tragedy. Any loss of human life is always a tragedy. However, I would also like to just say thank you to the SFPD. That video, that scene was so full of tension and chaos, and I don't know how you do it, and I don't know where the line of responsibility in terms of de-escalation, how much do you have to withstand, and how much do you need to put your life in danger before it is enough? There seems to be only you have to be responsible for every piece of this pie, and that's not how any relationship works. And when a gun is being pointed at you, I imagine that makes you fear for your life. Just like when you point a gun at someone, they fear for their life. It cannot go only one way. So I just want to say thank you, you guys, you men, women, you are so brave. You are incredibly trained. You are one of the most progressive police forces in the country. And please know that there are those of us who don't see everything being your responsibility all the time. There has to come a point where other people take responsibility for the consequences of their own behavior. That's all I want to say. Thank you, SFPD.
Thank you, caller, for your comment.
Next caller. Go ahead, caller.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Cheryl Thornton, and I'm a District 10 resident. The question I have is, why was the scene when they arrested and put the suspect in handcuffs so out of control? And why wasn't that person removed? Why was it allowed for this situation to continue to escalate with all those, people who were standing by in the public? Actually, it looks like somebody else could have actually even been injured. Luckily that they weren't. So I'm just wondering about the training around that. I know that this is a tough job and that was a tough situation, but it just appears that there should have been more control at that scene than there was initially. Thank you.
Thank you, caller, for your comments. And please know that all aspects of this investigation get reviewed for training and policies and following protocols. But I would invite you again, like I told the other callers, to review the videos. I know seeing this for the first time, sometimes when you review them additionally, I think some of your questions might be answered by a second or review or third review in terms of how that unfolded. And also I invite you to look at the transcripts in terms of what Commander M read in terms of the chronology of how this occurred. You know, we aren't here to make a judgment on any of this today. We're here to present the information, and we do encourage everybody that has, questions that can be answered by a second look, a third look at the videos and the transcripts that we will have online as soon as this is over. That might be helpful to answer some of your questions. Thank you, caller.
Next caller, please. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, I just wanted to say this was a tragic situation. It was hard to watch, and I'm sure much harder to experience. Always, I agree with prior callers, always tragic when there's a loss of life, but I also want to echo the appreciation for SFPD. It is unbelievable what you put yourself through and how you lay yourselves on the line for us over and over and over again. And thank you for looking out for us and for trying to keep the peace and trying to keep us safe despite a lot of pushback and opposition. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, caller, for your comments.
At this time, we have no callers in the queue, and I will reread the instructions. As a reminder, you may press *3 to raise your hand to speak for public comment after you've called in. To call into the meeting, please call 1-415-655-0001. Again, that number to call into the meeting is 1-415-655-0001. Please enter meeting code 2664-857-9135, followed by hitting the # sign. Each public comment caller will have up to 2 minutes to speak and will be limited to one call. If you wish to join the queue for public comment, please listen carefully to the following instructions. Interpretation is available in both Spanish and Cantonese. If you're watching on WebEx, you may click the interpretation button and select your preferred language. If you are calling into the meeting, again, please call 1-415-655-0001. Enter meeting code 2664-857-9135. You may press *3 to raise your hand to get into the queue to speak for public comment. You will be prompted when you have been unmuted and it is your turn to speak. Once again, each caller will have up to 2 minutes to provide public comment for this town hall meeting and will be limited to one phone call. Your 2 minutes will begin once you've been prompted that you have been unmuted and you begin speaking. Please be reminded, you must mute the broadcast you are watching in order for your public comment to be heard clearly. Again, if you are watching the broadcast online, please mute the broadcast or turn down the volume to prevent audio feedback so your comment can be heard clearly. Next caller. Go ahead, caller, we can hear you.
Ms. Rosalind Butler, and I actually work for the San Francisco Police Department. I was leery in watching this video because I'm afraid of guns, and I work for the police department. I'm not a sworn officer, but I see officers in uniforms and guns every day. A lady mentioned the disrespect of the officers. The disrespect and the language from the young people in those videos. As a Black woman, it breaks my heart to hear these youth talk to these people like this. They're people first, they're human beings second, and they're law enforcement, and they are putting their lives on the line to protect the community. No officer wakes up every day and say they want to shoot someone. The gentleman that was arrested in handcuffs, I don't know the details of that, but there was a reason that situation happened. And those youth that were there, they were egging on and escalating that situation. I, in my heart, believe had those things not happened, the young man that was shot, that probably would not have gotten to that point, because his anger was seeing that young man in handcuffs, and he felt he had to take that on for himself. Like he said, let him go This is my hood. We're not going anywhere. All cops aren't racist, and all cops aren't bad cops. And you guys have to understand that. They have families, they have wives, they have children. We need the police, whether people want to accept it or not. And you cannot label every cop as being a bad cop. We know
You
the
used your 2-minute call, ma'am. Thank you for calling.
Thank you very much for your comments, caller.
Next caller, please. Go ahead, caller. We can hear
Hello.
you.
Okay. Hello. I'm very sad about how this turned out, but I want to thank the officers for their work, their dedication under these very difficult circumstances. They were professional. They did their job. I want to echo what I just heard. The language of the people, the bystanders who were there, is it possible that the police department could work with the community on de-escalation from the community perspective so that the community doesn't call the police officers by using disrespectful language? I heard the B word and the N word so many times, and I never heard that from the police officers at all. I also wonder, are there any repercussions for bystanders who don't respond to officers' commands and put the officers in jeopardy when there's an active shooter, when there's a gun there, and the officers ask the people to move back, move away, and the people don't? That puts the officers in danger because they're trying to move people. Are there any repercussions for people who don't follow these commands under these circumstances? And again, I want to thank the officers for their hard work.
Thank you, caller, for your comments. And to your question, there potentially were some violations of Section 148 of the Penal Code and we are looking into that. That's about as much as I can say right now. But yes, there are consequences for interfering in official police investigations. There are consequences. It is against the law. And it is strongly discouraged, particularly in volatile and dangerous situations where people's lives are at stake. Thank you, caller, for your question.
Next call. Go ahead. Caller, are you there? Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Go ahead. We can hear you.
You can hear me?
We can hear you.
Caller? So I'm the cousin of the San Francisco Police Department shot and killed, of Ryan Bluford. And the main thing I have to say about that is, why did the narcotics unit stop him along the way of his pathway where he was going to? He didn't have nothing to do with the whole situation that was going on.
Thank you, caller, for your question. It's not against the law to walk in public spaces. It's not against the law to yell profanities. When you start threatening to kill a police officer and when you display a handgun and then point a handgun, that is against the law. So if you go back, like I have told the other callers, please go back and look at the videos. You know, whether that conduct is likable or not to the general public, what we have to look at is whether it's against the law. And it's not against the law to walk across the street and ask questions or yell profanities or whatever. However, threats to kill people, to kill police officers, gripping a handgun after you make that threat, pointing a handgun at a police officer is against the law, and it's a life-threatening situation. So please, I invite you to go back and look at the videos, and I think some of your questions you can probably answer from that.
Next caller, please. Go ahead, caller. We can hear you.
Hi, I also had a question. I would like to know,
Go ahead, caller.
I would like to know, is this standard protocol for you guys to run up on you just to see if they have a warrant without confirming it? Why didn't you guys get a black and white to confirm that that guy had a warrant before coming into a community and just arresting him like that, causing the mayhem? Because that was the cause of it. It looked like you guys were just whisking him away and kidnapping him.
Thank you for your question, caller. I believe if you go back and look at the transcripts, it is explained, it was explained by Acting Commander M exactly what the officers knew before they contacted the gentleman with the warrant. And I invite you to go back and look at that transcript. You may have misheard or misread it, or misheard it, but it's online, and I invite you to go back and look at it.
Next caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can, caller. Go ahead.
Hi, Police Chief Scott. I just wanted to call in and say thank you for how your officers handled that very difficult situation. A lot of people think that they know what shoulda, woulda, coulda happened in that particular situation, and you guys did everything that a reasonable officer would have done in that situation with someone who had a weapon that posed a threat to the safety of the officers and everybody that lived in that area. It's very disappointing to hear comments from people who act like this person should have been allowed to just continue to run around with a weapon. So I just wanted to let you guys know that keep doing what you're doing and don't be discouraged, and thank you for keeping everybody else safe, because he shouldn't have had a weapon in the first place.
Thank you for your comments, caller.
At this time, I'd like to remind callers that each public comment caller will have 2 minutes to speak, and we will be limited to 1 phone call. If you wish to join the queue for public comment, please listen carefully to the following instructions. At this time, we take the next caller. Go ahead, caller.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
That's me? All
Yes.
right, right on. So my dad's a firefighter, and he actually puts his life on the line to save people. I'm just wondering why police are the only ones that are never expected to put their lives on the line. You know what I mean? Like, why are they always the ones to shoot first? That's my main question. Why are the police always the ones to shoot and murder first? Why do they never expect to put their lives on the line for us? You know what I mean? Why are they never expected to put their lives actually on the line for us? And I also want to say, fuck you to all those people saying thank you to the police. You can go fuck yourself. And fuck the police. All you have everything coming to you. Straight up. Fuck the police.
Thank you, caller.
Next caller. Go ahead, caller.
I want to say thank you for an outstanding job to the police. You guys are always there for us, and you guys do a sensational job. And this case was a class act and a particularly well done job. So thank you so much. And to the people that need to insult the police, I think you should reevaluate your own life. Talk.
Thank you, caller.
At this time, we have no callers in the queue. we'd like to remind each caller that you have 2 minutes to speak and will be limited to one phone call. At this time, we have no callers in the queue, and we will conclude this town hall meeting in 2 minutes. Next caller. Go ahead,
Hello.
caller. We can hear you.
Hello. Hello. My name is Lisa. I'm a concerned citizen, and I am calling in to just make a comment. I don't really think you're actually taking questions, but what I witnessed with the Dolores Hill bomb event was an overuse of force, with over 100 people being detained. This seems like an overuse of force yet again. And I'm wondering if you all actually know where the line is in really trying to preserve human life. And I'm wondering if the frenetic kind of way that the police responded, how we can get community partners to get into de-escalate, because you guys don't know how to do it, to really preserve human life and to alleviate incidents of trauma to those that are involved, to family members, and to the greater society in the city that we're in. Really need you guys to start reflecting upon how to de-escalate and preserve life.
Thank you, caller,
Thank
for
you.
your comments.
Next caller. Go ahead, caller. We can hear you.
I just want to say, just listening to that last commenter, how divisive of rhetoric is this person speaking? I mean, outrageous to say that the police had to further de-escalate the situation. I don't know what video you watched, lady, but the person clearly pointed a weapon at these officers who defended themselves, defended the community. I just want to say, SFPD, everyone involved, really, it's a sad situation all around. SFPD officers, thank you for what you did and, putting yourself out there, taking 2 guns off the streets, right? That's a great thing for that community. I was disgusted by the way that those, kids were acting at the start of the video when the individual was being arrested for the warrant, the language that was thrown to these officers. And this woman who was just talking right now, I mean, clearly, for a fact that she would never be able to walk a day in any one of those officers' shoes. And, the city is better off without people like her. So, on behalf of all regular same systems, lady, you can get up and leave with your divisive tribalism rhetoric. This is not how a community heals whatsoever. So just want to say thank you to the officers for, putting themselves out there like that. It's a tough situation. I hope that community can, heal from this and whatnot, but that lady is totally out of line and not in line with the majority of everyday San Franciscans. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, caller.
At this time, we have no callers in the queue, and we will conclude this town hall meeting in 3 minutes. To call into the meeting, please call 1-415-655-0001. Next caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, I also wanted to reiterate on the last guy. I wanted to know how come the cops don't risk their lives on firefighters. It was a question. I just wanted to see if you could answer it. That was it.
Thank you, caller, for your comments.
At this time, we have no callers in the queue, and we will conclude this town hall meeting in 3 minutes.
I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in to view this town hall. The San Francisco Police Department is about transparency. As I said at the beginning, this is not about making a judgment in terms of this investigation, but this is about putting the facts out as we know them at this point in the investigation. Thank you, callers, for calling in, and please stay safe and have a very safe weekend.